Hello YouTube, this is Brian Tubbs coming at you with another video. Today I'm working on the piece we call reaching. I'm making another one because the last one, of course the last one I made sold, so I'm having to make another one. But this will be the first time I'll be using my new welding fixture table to work on it. I've welded the lower piece, this guy, off screen, off camera, because I was just trying to get everything worked out, as far as the table and the fixtures and all that stuff. And I just want to just be able to get this thing lined up and everything as straight as I can, because normally when I weld this piece, it has a slight twist to it. And this piece reaching can't have a twist to it because it's too difficult to get the top piece and everything lined up. It always looks like it has a slight twist to it, left or right. So I laid this out on the table, got it all clamped up, and I've only tack welded it so far. I haven't gone through and did all the MIG welding or TIG welding that I'm going to do, but it came out really, really straight. This is the first time it's ever came anywhere near this point of, straightness. It's kind of awkward to see it. It's kind of hard to see it, but this is the lower portion of it. And normally when I stand it up and look at it from this side going down, it always at the top it'll twist left or right. And so having the new fixture table and putting it on that for the first time and welding it, it's really I don't think it can get any straighter. I mean, it's straight up and down. So what I'm gonna have to do is when I start TIG welding it, is just clamp it down tight like I did before. And what I normally would do is just run a TIG bead all the way up one side and the other side and flip it over and do that. What I think I'm gonna have to do from here on out is just weld it in a spot, move, go to another spot, and just keep going like that to try and keep the heat from warping the metal. I mean, the fixture table is welding fine, but you still have to try and control the heat, so that's what I'm gonna have to do. So, I mean, this is really the most important part, because the part I'm working on now is the portion that comes out of the top, and then the donut sits on this portion, and then the top piece sandwiches the donut between the top piece and this lower piece. So as long as I have this lower piece fairly straight, when I cut through it and put the top piece through, I can kind of manipulate the top piece left to right a little bit, whatever I need to do. But if this piece is twisted going left and I put the top piece through, it's hard to get it straight because it wants to twist with this piece. So I'm excited about my new fixture table, and I'm gonna have to see what I can do. And of course I won't be able to weld that up in this video because I'm primarily just working on the top piece. But this is the donut that will sit between the two pieces. Of course, it's all stainless steel. So I did this off camera as well because I'm just trying something new, with this fixture table. But it came out looking, it's nice. It's smooth. I just have to finish TIGging it up and grinding it down. Putting the you know, the marks on it, different designs on it, and it'll be ready to go. So today, what I'm working on is the top piece that comes out of the body, the lower body of reaching. Of course, it's stainless steel. Reaching is the lower portion is core tin, the upper is stainless steel, and then the donut is stainless steel. So what I got to do is take this piece of stainless, put it in the English wheel, so I can put it on the outer portion here. So it'll be, I consider it the outer skin. This will be, if you look at the piece from the rear, this is what you'll see. This right here, that'll be covering this outside here. And then I got to take another piece and put on this inside portion here. Then there's a cap piece I put on the top here. But that's after I get it on, because I have to reach through this hole before I put the cap on to weld the donut between this piece and that piece. So what I'm gonna do now is just put this in the English wheel and kind of roll it, get it, you know, kind of fit up, snugged up. Then I just go ahead and kind of tack it in. So what I'm gonna do first is put it in the English wheel and just kind of put a little arc on it just to get it started. And this can take a while because I got to get at this front portion here. It has a pretty good arc on it, a good roll to it. And then on the bottom, that rolls the opposite way. So in this portion, it's all smooth, but when you get to the upper portion and that lower portion, the way we designed it, it has a roll to it, pretty tight roll. So just gotta see what I can do here. All right, so I'm just gonna put this in and just start rolling it. And the way I do it, I just put it in here, kind of tighten this wheel down so it won't slide out. And just take my right hand and just put a little pressure on it, just to get it going. And you're just pushing it. I'm holding it with my left hand underneath here, just so it won't slide back. And I just add a little bit at a time, just feed it through. And trying to keep this English wheel in the center, because if it goes off center, left or right, this thing could kind of start twisting. And I want to do everything I can to not have it twist. Nothing difficult to it. It's just trying to keep it going as smooth as I can. It does not need that much bend or roll in it. It just needs enough to get around, you know, the outside arc of this piece. That's it. So when you guys are making your pieces, this is how you would do it. It'll be nice if I would change that design so I won't have to make this upper and lower so bend it so much. It would be better if it was smoother, but it would take away from the look. So I guess I'll just leave it as is. And if I wanted to get like a complete circle, I could do that with this, just rolling it right through this English wheel. But the thing with this, after I get it rolled, I have to unroll it some to follow the arc, because it can overdo it And I'm not trying to do that. And this is about close to about 14 gauge stainless. So it's not that difficult to work with because it gives, but it's strong. Once you weld it, I mean, it's solid. You can't like take your hand and push it in. Now, with an automobile, a car, that's in some cases, some cars could be, you know, 22 gauge, 20 gauge. If you took your hand, put it to a car in a spot like on a door and push it, that metal would move. It would go in, kind of collapse in, but it will pop back out. But with this 14 gauge, it's not going to do that. It's too thick. So it's just a good, it's kind of a good all around metal to work with. It's not too heavy, but it's not light. It's really strong. So I love working with it. It's not cheap though. I mean, it's not super expensive, but it's not cheap at all. So if you're going to use stainless steel, you have to charge, when people buy your pieces, you have to charge enough money to make it worth your while. Because other than that, it's not worth doing it. So now I have to kind of unroll it some, because I want it to just really wrap around and just lay on there. I don't have to be forcing it down and all that stuff too much. And so I just kind of I roll it and then I kind of unroll it. And now I have to lay it on here and just see what I have. And the reason I have these on here is because once I get this wall in place, I'm going to kind of clamp this to that wall to keep it straight up and down. Because the problem I was having with my other table, I couldn't clamp it, you know, in a vertical position, because there was nowhere to put, you know, clamps. I didn't have this type of clamp with that other table because they just wouldn't work. So with this table, I can just put it on there, lay it in, clamp it to here, and then weld it. And I know it's not going to pull, when I weld it, it's not going to pull the metal that way because these clamps are keeping it back this way. And the problem with not being able to clamp your vertical pieces, if they move with the heat, you put your top piece on, in this case the upper piece here, and then you put your front piece on, it's going to be tweaked. And you won't know it until you're all done. Then you put your piece together and it's twisted. So those are things you have to look out for. This table is by Prime Weld. Really nice table. And the price was what was it? Like $8.99 per table. There are two tables here put together. They are 2x3, 2 width, 3, you know, wide, if you will, or length. So I have 2 two together, so it's 6 feet by 2, which is plenty. If I need another table, I just go out and go and buy another one. So like I said, they're $8.99 when I bought these just a couple months ago. So I bought them and didn't put them together right away. They were kind of sitting there. And then I finally got some time to put them together, and so put it together, and here we are. There's nothing like having a straight table. A straight and sturdy table, that is. All right. Just gotta get it in line. Then get a couple tacks on it. But the key is getting it all lined up. And the other good thing about a table like this is when you need leverage to like move these walls in, I can just take what I consider these stops, put it in a hole, put my pry bar, whatever it is, to that and to the piece, and just pry this into position. So, really nice table. Put it there. I'm gonna go ahead and fire my my Lincoln 140 up. Turn the gas on. And I normally would be using my Weld Pro, but I have ER70S6 wire in here, for mild steel core 10. And I don't want to change the wire, so I'm using my Lincoln. And I have, ER309 stainless wire in here. So I can just tack up all my stainless pieces with this welder. This makes it easier, so I don't have to be stopping, taking the wire out. Let me show you guys this is a spool of wire for the Weld Pro. It's about 11 pounds of wire that I use in that Weld Pro. And I have this one, and I have some other wire in there already, another spool. Like I said, it's 11 pounds of wire. And in my Lincoln 140, this is the size spool of wire I use. It's 2 pounds. So this is what's inside of that one. I can use this size or the 11 pound in that one. And I might have 11 pound in there, but it's either way. But when you guys start welding, if you have a welder or buy a welder, you can buy a 2 pounder or you can buy an 11 pounder. It just saves money. It costs more initially with the 11 pounder, but it just takes you a lot longer to use it up. And guys, like I always say, when you're at home, wear your helmet. And what I do mostly now with this table is I will clamp directly to the piece, because I don't want arc marks coming from the table to the piece if I clamp this to the table. I mean, I can do it, but I'd rather just clamp to the piece, and that way I can eliminate having a bunch of arc marks on the table and on the piece, because I want to keep this table as smooth as possible, and I don't want to be using a grinder, you know, to smooth the arc marks and whatnot out. All right, let me see if I can tack this in a couple spots here. Got that one. Let's see what I got here. I think I'm gonna get a clamp and just hold this down so it won't pop up. And I think I made a video on the new fixture table. I think I did. I know I made a video on how I made these clamps. I made these clamps with these bars on it, so you can just stick it right into the fixture table. You can make your own. You can get these from Harbor Freight and make your own, or you can buy them, you know, online or from a welding supply store. They're gonna cost 2, 3, 4 times as much if you buy them from the store as if you make your own. So I mean, I have the skill. I just made my own, and I made a video on that you can check out. I'll you know, put a thumbnail picture up so you guys can see it, which video it is. It is just so nice to be able to do this, as opposed to my other table. It had 2 slits in it. I have to go under the table with my clamps and come up through the slits to try and figure out how to clamp the pieces down to the table. With this, I just take the clamp, stick it in any hole, and just keep going. That's the benefit of having a fixture table. So I'm gonna take a stop and put it behind here. Then I can take my pry bar and go behind that and pry this forward until it touches that, and then I'll tack it. All right, let me see what I can do here. Let me clamp this down again. Let's find the right position. Getting there. It's just how I bent this. It has a really tight bend, and I'm trying to smooth that bend out so I can tack it here. I think I'm gonna grab a flat piece of metal and lay it next to it. It'd be a little bit smoother. So I'm just putting a square tube back here, because the edge is flatter than this pry bar on this. So then I'll put the stop behind the square tube, get the pry bar in there, and then pry it, and I'll lay it flat just like that. Wow, worked out. Wow, that was nice. Just using stops. I'll get a little bit closer so you guys can see what this thing is. But like I said, I made a video on, the different tools that I'm using now. But this is a stop. Just stick it in a hole. Like say if I wanted to keep this piece from sliding forward when I was putting pressure on the back with that pry bar, I could have just taken this, stuck it in this hole right here. That's touching this piece, and this piece can't move because it's not going to put enough pressure on this. This bottom this is a 5/8 diameter solid steel. These holes are 5/8 holes on the table. So I just stick it into one of those holes, and I can push on this thing all day as hard as I want to. This will not move because that stop is there. So that's primarily what these are for. But I use them also when I want to put my pry bar. Show you what I'm talking about. So if this is the wall of the piece here, and I want to move that forward so it'll touch the portion that's laying down, I'll put this in a hole right behind that wall, put this between the pry bar and the wall, and I'll pry this, and that wall will suck in, this vertical wall will suck into that. Then I'll tack it. So that's what I was doing on the back side here. But that's one of the advantages of having a fixture table. You can do so much with this. And if I was making multiple pieces the same thing over and over and over, I can just set up a jig on here and just take my metal, set it in the jig, weld it up, move one, put another one in, set it up in the same jig. You can do that stuff all day long. So if you guys are in the market for a welding table at some point, if not now, do prime weld. They have the best at a lower cost. It's not overly expensive to buy their table. I mean, $8.99. I was looking at other tables, and some of them were, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for one table. I mean, I could do that, but why? So what I'm gonna do now is just put this clamp in here, clamp it down, so I can keep this wall from moving forward as I'm welding it or tacking it. Because like I said, it's little movements like that cause your pieces to be warped. All right, got that there. Wow, it's so nice. And I'm just going around making sure that gap is tight, because I want to TIG weld this, once I get it all tacked up and everything, and I want my gaps really, really tight. Just getting this down on the table so it's not rising up. All right, one at a time. Let's see here. That's there. That's there. Just making sure this is on that table. Guys, I tell you, there's nothing like making a sculpture or making something. If you guys have problems and you're depressed or whatever, just go outside and just start making something. It might surprise you at how soon, how fast you forget about all that stuff, the other stuff. Because you really can't afford to be thinking about something like that if you working on something like this, or before you know it, you'll even mess it up. Yeah, I'll just leave it up for right now. Get my stop and my pry bar. I can remove this now because that's already clamped down or tacked down. So I guess this video, guys, is about the benefits of a fixture table. I mean, of course, we're reaching, but this fixture table just makes everything just so much easier. This wants to rise up a little bit because that wants to rise up. What I think I'm going to have to do is just put a clamp over here as well. But first I'm going to hold this down so it doesn't pop up. And the good thing with this, guys, if you make your own, I think these things only cost like $4. So if you want to make one, check that video that I made. I'll take you through all the details and all that kind of stuff. Because this is just 5/8 solid rod. You can go to your welding supply and just get, 3, 4 feet, 6 feet of solid 5/8 steel rod. And then this is just a long pipe, and the inner wall, I think was close to 5/8. So I just cut an inch of the pipe or tube, cut about an inch pieces, and then this was, I think, about 2 inches, this solid rod, and I slid the solid rod inside of the tube, welded it up, and then just welded that piece to the bottom of this. There was a lower piece on here that when you clamp this, it would clamp to that piece. I just knocked the little pins out, slid that piece off, and put this piece on, welded this piece on. I see other guys on like YouTube and whatnot, they will cut that piece off. What they're doing is making their vise about an inch and a half, 2 inches shorter than what this one is. Because as opposed to me cutting the metal to take that piece off, I just took my, you could take a drill and just drill those little rivets out, and that piece will slide off. And you keep your extra inch and a half of metal down here. Then you take this piece, weld it on, you're adding an inch here. So as opposed to losing 2 inches, you gained an inch and a half by doing it like this. And then this piece just slides down in the hole in the table. So check that video out. Like I said, I'll put a link up to it because I don't remember the name of the video, but I'll put it up on the screen. So by doing it like this, I mean, you can sit there in a day and make 10 clamps or 20 clamps. And then you have all the clamps you need. You're not going out spending $400 or $500. You're spending, you know, maybe $50. It just depends on how many clamps you want to make. I think I made, I think it was like 6 or something. Yeah, I think I made 6. That's 4, 5. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I made 6 of these. I could have made 12. I mean, it doesn't matter. If I need more, I just make more. It's kind of hard for me to see the bottom of this because there was a blue-gray plastic film on the back of this stainless steel. Is a protective layer. And when I peeled it off, I still have some of the black adhesive on the edges. So it's hard for me to tell if I'm actually looking at the bottom of this or if I'm looking at the adhesive, because I need this to touch the table and it look like there's a gap, but I don't think so. But I'd rather be sure when I do it, when I tack this in. So I'll take my fingernail and see. Yeah, just a slight little gap. Yeah, so if you guys get a chance, go just go to Prime Weld. You just check out they have fixture tables, they have welders, plasma cutters, really good stuff, but at a lower price. They're trying to keep some money in our pockets. They don't want to take all of our money. Like some of these companies. All right, let me just clamp this down. All right, that looks good. I'll just take this now. Put my stop in. And this is how it's done, guys. Just do what I do. Just make sure your walls are as vertical as possible and flat, so they'll come to that 90 degree. That's if you don't want your pieces to twist at all. I'm kind of working on this. Working on this piece. And I'm waiting for Amazon at the same time, Amazon driver, because I have I'm working on one of my son's mini bike. So I just ordered a new carburetor for it. So that's one of the other things I do. I work on. I don't work on. But I'm working on it for him. But I have, he has a mini bike. My other son has a mini bike, and I have a 1969, was it Cat 250, I think it's called. Yeah, we have those stored. So we haven't ridden them in quite a while, so it's time to get back out and have some fun. That's one of the things I do, and I also have radio control cars, planes, boats, motorcycles. I just bought a new DJI drone. I know they're trying to ban them, but I'm gonna keep flying too. So I don't know if you guys are into that kind of stuff. But that's the other thing I do. I used to have a online hobby store. It's called rcalley.com. And that was kind of early on in the .com thing. Like back in, I opened the store in '99. So a lot of distributors didn't want to deal with me because I didn't have a brick and mortar store. So I did that for a number of years. And so I just been doing radio control for forever. There's a plane up top here that's in most of my videos. It's kind of crashed and beat up because the guy that was instructing me crashed my darn plane. He's supposed to be my instructor. Well, he was one of the instructors, supposedly. I normally had a different guy, one guy named Calvin, another guy named Barry, that used to be my instructor. But they all went out of town one Thursday, and this guy decided to stick around and try and train people. He trained all right. He had my plane on the runway, going down the runway. Didn't get enough speed. He didn't stop. Turn around and try it again. He kept going. Ran right into all the bushes and weeds. I couldn't believe it. So I'm sure I can fly. I can teach myself, but just at the time, I just figured, because there was a big flying field not far from here I used to go to, had all the so-called experts out there. And there was a hobby shop called Ryder's Hobby Shop that I used to go to. And this guy was supposedly one of the instructors. He screwed my plane up. And it's been sitting up there ever since. He had the nerve to give me a couple pieces for the end of the outside of the wings to patch them up. I should have had his behind pay for it. Yeah, my store was rcalley.com. I think I mentioned that. So I don't know if any of you guys remember that store, but we sold some of everything. HPI, Associated. I had a Ron Paris, Nova Rossi engines. I had a Mugen Seiki. We had, gosh, who else did we have? We had Pico engines. Yeah, we had so much stuff. And it all started out, they didn't want to deal with me, but then I got one distributor, and then everybody wanted to come. So it worked out well. I had a lot of fun. I had a big dirt track in my backyard. A lot of fun. But then I started getting a lot of guys that want to steal. Different people from different parts of the world, like Indonesia and India, just all over the world. People were trying to steal. I don't know why, but that's just the way it was back then. All right, so all I'm doing is just tacking it in, and once I get this side tacked in, I think I'll put the top piece on and then do the inside, other side of the piece. vent. If any of you guys are into radio control stuff, put it in the comments and let me know what you're into. Yes, I have fifth scale. Off-road trucks. I have the FG fifth scale on-road car. I have a 1/8 scale Mugen 1/8 scale on-road car that for racing only. Gosh, I have so much stuff. So if you guys are into that stuff, let me know. Should I probably have 20 some cars. I have 2 motorcycles. A friend of mine has probably about the same amount of cars that I do, or maybe more. And he just bought the new low-C the MX Moto was a Pro Moto MX. He just bought that. So now I'm thinking about buying one, but I just have to decide if I want to do that. They're supposed to be coming out with a new one. I think it's called the SM. It's more for the on-road, but I don't know. I'll figure it out. But that's the kind of stuff I do, guys. All right, so I get that portion pretty much done. Wall looks pretty straight. So I'm gonna do now is get some pieces of cardboard to go in here, so I can set that upper wall on here and just kind of tack it in a little bit. Be right back.